The Bitwise Spot XRP ETF launched today, and I've got all of the numbers and information leading up to this point. I am recording this about 8:30 a.m. Hawaii time, which is about midday Eastern time. Let's jump in, as well as I have a ton of other XRP updates. Let's get you caught up with the news and what's going on. So Hunter Horsley, the ticker is XRP, starting today, available in traditional brokerage accounts. Their management fee is 0.34, which is the lowest fee that we have seen so far. And here's some of the details. It is our management fee of 0.34, which has been waived for the first month and the first $500 million in asset. This product brings investor spot exposure to XRP, the crypto asset that aims to modernize global payments, as well as they listed a bunch of other information. It's one of the world's longest running blockchains with 13 years in track record. It's the world's third largest digital asset with 125 billion in market cap. It's going after a massive 250 trillion cross-border payments opportunity. It can settle payments in 3 to 5 seconds for fractions of a cent. A growing list of assets are being tokenized on the XRP ledger, including US treasuries, digital commercial paper, private equity, and money market funds. I love to hear it. Just to give you some additional context information, Bitwise has about $15 billion in assets under management, and Canary Capital has about 320 to 350 million. So Bitwise is a much larger institution than Canary Capital. And so here it is, the first 10 minutes of trading, ladies and gentlemen. We got you. It looks like we saw about $14 million worth of trading in just the first 10 minutes. The projection was 92 million. Obviously, early projections and FOMO really couldn't play out through the entire day like that. If it did, things would be insane. But here you go. Here's the first 90 minutes. Here's about 15. So first 10 minutes and then first 10 minutes and then first 90 minutes. So not too much change, right? Now the projection was decreased to 70 million. And then now we have the first 2 hours and just another maybe million and a bit. Now the projection is down to 57 million. And then by 3.5 hours left, it looks like we've done about $20 million. So still very good showing for the first kind of half of the day of trading here. And then Chad says the price goes down, the ETFs take more faster. You're not dealing with crypto bros anymore. And I think that's probably a really wise statement. You know, I know that the price is kind of falling just like the rest of the crypto market, but at the end of the day, I don't look day to day on prices. If the price goes below $2 or 180 or 175, I will continue buying XRP. I have committed to the next 3, 5, 10 years of my life to this. I know some people are expecting the moon. I think there was some expectations set by some people in the XRP space that were unrealistic. But if you watch this channel, you know we kind of keep it straight to the facts and the news. And, you know, we will see how this plays out once all the ETFs are approved. All right, and so Chad says here, I've been waiting 8 years for these freaking ETFs. So yeah, I'm damn excited. Chad's been one of the key posters on X. Make sure that you're following him and showing him some love. Now he has an updated here XRP ETF Canary, 26.582 million in share volume, resulted in acquiring 6.3 million XRP back to the fund. As you can see here, we have the 5 daily totals of 154 million, which is a pretty insane number for just one ETF. Now, I wanted to take a look at this. If Canary current ETF XRP acquisition rate continues at full strength, the amount of XRP purchased off the open market over the next 1, 3, 6, and 12 months would be as follows. So here you go. Here's the period: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, how much XRP would be purchased, and then full strength. And then this, of course, is half strength. I always like to look at full, half, you know, just some different numbers here. So man, you could be seeing almost a $500 million XRP basically depleted from Canary Capital itself, which is one of the smallest ETFs, right? So that's pretty good to see. Obviously, if the other ones are gobbling up $1 billion or $2 billion, if we start adding all of that up, we could see 5 or 10 billion XRP gone off exchanges. And we know that there's only 3 billion XRP on exchanges right now. So where would the extra come from? Obviously, that's when the price would start adjusting. All right, so with the launch of the second pure spot ETF, Bitwise XRP is set to break the record opening day. Set to break the record and breaking the record are always two different things, guys. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I know we're excited, but you know, got to take a deep breath. Canary now holds a 5-day start holding 450,000 XRP valued at $281 million. And then there was a lot of projections about Bitwise launch today. And obviously, since the market is down, people are not, they are not showing up in full force. All right, so I wanted to bring this clip, right? Because Riz has a point here, 3-dimensional chess, sometimes 4-dimensional chess that Ripple is playing with the rest of the market. Brad Garlinghouse did comment that XRP is at the center and heart of everything that Ripple does. And I think it's really important that everybody knows this, right? And so I know people's lives get busy and sometimes we miss news, but this was said, and I think this goes to Ripple's overall plans for XRP lifetime, right? This is why they've been buying XRP back off the open market over the last few years, and this is why they position themselves as a leader in the XRP space.
Well, XRP, and I sometimes have to remind the world of this, but XRP is at the heart and soul of what Ripple is doing. We care deeply. We have called it our North Star. But at the end of the day, we want to do things that are good for the XRP ecosystem. We want to build trust in XRP. We want to build utility in XRP. And we want to build liquidity in XRP. And each of the acquisitions we do, in one way or another, we believe it will do those things. Now, it may not be, some people may look at it and be like, I don't really scratch their head a little bit. Well, I promise you that we see in the 3-dimensional game of chess, we see how we believe that's going to evolve. Sometimes we'll probably do things that are more obvious and some less obvious. That's okay with us.
Right, there might be...
One of the advantages of being private is I don't always have to explain myself to public investors.
And that's the thing, right? That's why Brad said he is not interested in, Ripple is not interested right now in IPOing because he doesn't want to answer to a bunch of investors. They want to be able to move and shake and do whatever they want without having all of these eyes on them. And, I think Ripple's going to wait at least a few years here. John Squire says XRP ETFs are lining up spot futures leverage. Wall Street wants XRP from 200 million to 1.5 trillion in filings. Here is like the full gambit, the full list. As you can see, here's the issuer, here's the status, here's the product name, here's the type, right? So spot is what's really important. Spot is what allows us to buy more XRP off the open market to fund those ETF futures. You don't do that. So anytime you see spot here, that is exactly what we're looking for. And here's some updated dates and timelines. And there's some big names coming, like Franklin Templeton. That is a big name coming. Wisdom Tree, 113 billion. That's a big name coming. All right. In summary, Ripple bought up all the open market XRP except for the 1.9 billion retail XRP remaining in the previous years. 54.5 billion XRP are now making its way for spot ETFs. Chat estimates 39 billion in 1 year. We'll track this amount. I believe the closer that we get to these numbers, the higher the prices will rise. Guys, personally, I don't think you're going to see 39 billion XRP bought off the open market. This is just this is my personal opinion. And you got to understand the price. If in fact we start to see XRP depleted off exchanges, the price is going to rise. And if the price rises, you're not going to be able to buy as much XRP. And the higher the price rises, you're not going to be able to buy even close to as much XRP. And also you got to think about people selling. Once you get to $5 or $10 or $20, right? Those might not be your price targets, but somebody else is thinking, oh man, I bought this at 20 cents. Now it's at $5. Cash me out, right? Everybody is different. So I don't love these projections. It's cool to look at and it's great to say, but I'll come back to you in a year and we'll see if this plays out. I will stand by what I think is going to happen, and it is not this. I think it'll be a whole lot lower. All right. Hunter Horsley says, just presented to 30 CEOs of wealth and broker dealer firms. Several good questions, 0 questions about price. Wow. Right? Wow. So what is he talking about here? So either wealth management, broker dealer firms are typically financial firms that manage investments, assets, securities, and trading for clients. Wealth management firms provide financial planning, investment management, and advisor services for high net worth individuals and institutions. Broker dealer firms are companies that facilitate the buying and selling of securities such as stocks, bonds, and other financial assets, often serving retail and institutional clients. Regarding value, these types of firms usually manage or trade significant amounts of capital. Wealth management firms often handle assets ranging from hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. Broker-dealer firms can also vary largely in trading volumes, frequently in the billions of daily, depending on the size and the client base. Without the specific names, it's really hard to tell, but this is really good news, guys, right? We are finally starting to see some of these investment firms getting into the crypto space. Remember, there's like something like 50 to 60% of financial advisors haven't yet made the shift for their clients into crypto. We're going to start to see that over the next few years. And once that starts happening, man, it's going to be a party. All right, Franklin Templeton Digital Assets. What happened in crypto this week? Cumulated performance of the top 5 market cap by token. Here you go. Bitcoin is in blue here, down 15%. BNB in green, down to right 15.48. Ethereum is down 20.6%. Solana is down 26.69%. Where are those Solana maxis at? I can't hear anything. Where did they go? And then XRP is down 12.61%. Interesting part here is I believe, the reason XRP is not down further is because of the demand for ETFs, but you also got to consider Solana spot ETFs just launched a few weeks ago. Shouldn't they have similar demand too? This is panic of degens getting out of Solana because they think the market is over. So I wonder how that is going to affect Solana in general or the crypto market. It does says Franklin Templeton expands Benji token platforms to Canton. Franklin Templeton has integrated its Benji token platform with the Canton blockchain, an institutional grade network for digital assets. The integration aims to enable smoother connectivity between tokenized funds and other financial products or applications, advancing the firm's broader strategy in digital assets. It talks about a rate cut doubt weighs on crypto. The market's dipped come as expectations for a December federal rate cut fade, dampening optimism and curbing speculative appetite for both TradeFi and crypto assets. Right now, the US didn't release jobs numbers and a lot of economic data. The reason for that, for October, the reason for that was the shutdown, although they probably could have gathered that information. I think that information is so bad that they don't want to release it. And so the Fed is kind of in a bad position here. They were going to drop rates continuously and of course start QE, but now they're starting to wonder, like, what are we going to do here? Because, more and more people are filing for unemployment as both inflation and unemployment are going up. They do have a dual mandate to fight both. They do have a stronger mandate to fight inflation. So what is the Fed going to do here? Do they continue to drop rates? Do they pause because they don't have the information? If you listen to Jerome Powell a few weeks ago, he said it's like we're driving in a fog. What do you do when you're driving in a fog? You usually slow down. He was saying that, that's what the Fed's probably going to. They're going to slow down on cutting rates until they have more data. Obviously, as this changes, I will bring you the updates. That is just what is being said. The SEC's Project Crypto SEC Chairman Atkins outlined new steps for Project Crypto in his speech last week, emphasizing the development and the comprehensive token taxonomy to better define different types of digital assets. This is very important. This initiative seeks to enhance regulatory clarity, consistency in how cryptocurrencies and tokenized assets are classified across US markets. This also talks about Czech central bank test crypto purchases. The Czech National Bank has purchased about 1 million in Bitcoin and other digital assets to gain experience with digital assets markets, marking the bank's first direct exposure to cryptocurrencies. And just some additional information here, guys, but a lot of things happening across the space. Obviously, I will keep you updated with XRP, with Ripple, and digital assets, regulations, CBDCs, digital IDs, and so much more. I'm Crypto Sensei. I just want to thank you again for being here. If you want to leave a comment, leave a like, share this video with anybody in your life. I'd really appreciate that love and support. Thank you. I will see you next time. Aloha.